First off, in part A of number 3, what should you have immediately done with your graph?
Made a number line.
Made a number line. If you did not make a number line, it probably screwed your answers up later. So I would have started off by saying, here's my f prime number line. Where do I have critical numbers? And 1.5. Okay. The undefined, this is not where the derivative equals 0. Undefined would only show up if you had like an asymptote or a whole. Okay, we don't have those. So this is negative, positive, negative, yes? And then I have that to use for the rest of the day. So what does that tell me about part A? Where do we have a relative maximum? 1.5. 0.1 is for saying that, because?
G prime of x goes from positive to negative.
Yes. Okay. And why should it have been G prime?
Because the graph is f of x, which is equal to G prime of x.
Yep. And we're asked about the minimum of G. Because we're talking about G, we got to talk about G prime. Okay? So this would happen at x equals 1.5, and your reasoning is G prime changes positive to negative. Believe it or not, if you had just written that, and that is it, you would have gotten your points. Okay? It does not have to be long things for this at all. All right. B. Some of you will not like your answers in part B because we forgot. What does the first part say?
Find the average.
Find the average rate of change, and some of us did not. That was point 1. Average rate of change setup should have looked like. And this was referring to f of x. So we would have said f of 3 minus f of negative 4 over 3 minus negative 4, which gives me an average rate of change of negative 2 over 7. Point number 1. Explain. It says there is no point C on negative 4 to 3 where f prime of C is equal to that average rate of change. Why does this not contradict the mean value theorem? Well, what has to be true for mean value theorem to be true?
It must be continuous
And?
and differentiable.
Okay, and what is this function not?
Differentiable.
Okay, so you would have said something like f of x is not differentiable on the whole interval. Okay? All right, part C. First, find the equation to the tangent line of h of x when x equals 2. All right, how do you find a tangent line or the equation of a tangent line? What do I need?
X, y, slope.
Okay, which one do I have? I have x. How do I find the y?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. H of 2. How do I find the slope? Plug it into the derivative. H prime of 2. Yes? So point 1 was for finding h prime and plugging in 2 to get your slope. H prime should have been 2 f prime of x, I'll just plug in my 2, plus 3x squared. What do we get from this for our slope? 8. How do you find f prime of 2? You just find the slope of that line segment. That line segment had a slope of negative 2. And when we plug that in, we get back out 8 for our slope. How do I find h of 2? Plug it in. So that's 2 times f of 2 plus 2 cubed. What is f of 2? Negative 1, right? So that's negative 2 plus 8 gives me 6. Finding that and writing your tangent line was your second point. Because that part didn't require any calculus, so that's why there's kind of two things within it. So getting to y minus 6 equals 8 times x minus 2 would have gotten you your second point. Now, point 3. Use the tangent line to approximate the value of h of 2.1. How do we approximate h of 2.1 using what we just found?
Put that into x.
We've got the tangent line, so what do we do with 2.1?
Plug in for x.
Plug it in for x and solve for y. That's your approximation. Because remember, the tangent line is close to the curve, so it gives us a good approximation. So this would have looked like 8 times, what is 2.1 minus 2? 0.1. And then we would have had to add 6 to the other side to solve for y, right? What is 8 times 0.1? 0.8 plus 6 gives me 6.8. Some of us did some like numeric gymnastics to get that. That was not supposed to be a hard thing where you had to do a lot of brute force multiplication. Some of you made it like really hard. That was not supposed to be that hard. All right, so we got our approximation. That's the third point. Now, if I could follow your math through for a correct approximation, sometimes you got some extra points there if I could figure that out. But some of you were like all over the place with your work, and then I couldn't follow. Okay? Part D, most missed question on the test. We had one like this on our homework.
This made me mad because I remember I was
Like you remembered what you were talking about.
I was
yep.
like, I know what it is. I just have to I was like,
I just don't remember how to reason it out. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
was the same way. It's like, I know
Yes.
I like
what
wrote it on
this
the
is. Which,
side. I was like, this.
I could tell on some of your tests that like you knew what you were trying to do. You just couldn't quite remember how to get there.
I remember you talking about
Yep.
it.
No.
I racked my brain for like
I was
5
just
minutes
sitting there
of like,
wait, what
this?
was it?
Yeah. So it is based off of concavity. So the only way to talk about concavity is by using the what? Second derivative. Okay, so point number 1 was for finding the second derivative. All right, so let's look at that. If h prime was 2f prime plus 3x squared, what is h double prime? 2f double prime plus 6x. Yes?
I got like a notation
Mm-hmm.
of.
Well, I'll talk about why. Yep. H double prime, then, you had to plug in. Does anyone remember what number you had to plug in?
2.1.
It's not the 2.1. It is the 2. You had to plug in 2. Any remembrance of why we had to plug in the 2?
To find the action.
2 is where the tangent line was attached. So because the tangent line is attached at 2, that's why you have to check the concavity at 2. You can't check the concavity at 2.1 because we did not attach the tangent line there. We're going to base this off of what the concavity of this function was when we attached the tangent line. You can't base it off of the concavity where we didn't attach it. So first off, how do I find f double prime at 2? Because we did run into some problems with that. How did we find f prime at 2? We just talked about that in C.
Slope.
It was the slope of that. Well, take a look at the slope of that line is -2. And it's -2 everywhere. So what is the slope of the slope?
0.
0. Because, think about the derivatives. If your graph looks something like this, right? The slope of this is -2. Remember the ones where we started drawing the slopes? The slope of that is -2 everywhere. What is the slope of that? 0, right? So because that's 0, that makes this whole thing equal 12. Which means our original function h of x is concave which way? Up. So because it's concave up, it doesn't look like this, it looks like this. And your tangent line would be a underestimate. Okay? So you would say because h double prime at 2 is positive, h of x is concave up, and therefore our estimate is an underestimate. Okay. Questions on that? All right.